Good morning. Ok. El día de hoy, como les había comentado, es club de lectura, ¿vale?
Okay.
Vamos a comenzar con el capítulo 10, ¿vale? Están solo Diego y Daniela, ¿no? Por lo tanto, van a leer de a párrafo, ¿ok? No
Okay.
importa si es largo o corto, ¿vale? Comienza Diego, porfa.
Okay. Veamos un poquito. Returning to the Sputter Inn from the chapel, I found I found Quick there quite alone. He having left the chapel before the benediction some time. He was sitting on a bench before the fire, with his feet on the stove hearth, and in one hand was holding close up to his face that little negro idol of his, peering hard into its face, and with a jack-knife gently whittling away at its nose. Meanwhile, humming to himself is his head, headinish way.
It's my turn, right? Okay. But being now interrupted, he popped up the image and pretty soon going to the table, took a look at a large book there and placing on his lap began counting the pages with deliberated regularity. At every fifth page, as I fancied, stopping at a moment, looking vacantly around him and giving utterance to a long-drawn gurgling whistle of astonishment. He would then begin again at the next 50, seeming to complement at the number one each time, as though he could not count more than 50, and it was only by such a large number of fifties being found together that his astonishment at the multitude of pages was excited.
Okay, was 11? Is that? I don't remember. I lost the chapter. Is 11?
Uh, you should start on. With much interest, I sat watching him.
Yes, but the chapter is 11?
It's 10.
Okay, sorry
Oh,
that I lost.
sorry. Oh, it's okay.
Okay. With much interest I sat watching him. Savage though he was, and hideously marred about the face, at least to my taste, his countenance yet had something in it which was by no means disagreeable. You cannot hide the soul, through all his unearthly tattooings. I thought I saw the traces of a simple honest heart, and in his large, deep eyes, fire black and bold, there seemed tokens of a spirit that would dare an uncontested could not altogether mean. He looked like a man who had never cried and never had a life. Sorry, a creditor. Whether it was true that his head being shaved, his forehead was drawn out in freer and brighter relief, and looked more expansive than it otherwise would. This I will not venture to decide, but certain it was his head was phrenologically an excellent one. It may seem ridiculous, but it reminded me of General Washington's head, as seen in the popular bust of him. It had the same long regularly graded retreating slope from above the brows, which were likewise very projecting, like two long promontories, thickly woven up top. Quick was George Washington cannibalistically developed. developed. Continue.
Wells, Nina, it's here. Hmm. Whilst I was thus okay, I continue reading or
Yes.
okay. Whilst I was thus closely scanning him, half pretending meanwhile to be looking out at the storm from the casement. He never heeded my presence. He never troubled my himself with so much as a single glance, but but appeared wholly occupied with counting the pages of the marvelous book, considering then how sociably we had been sleeping the night the night previous, and special considering the affectionate arm I had found thrown over me up waking up this morning. I thought this indifference of his very strange, but savage are strange begins. At times you do oh, you don't know exactly how to take them. At first they are overwhelming. Their calm self-collectedness of simplicity seems a Socratic wisdom. I had noticed also that Queen Quack were concerned at all, or but very little, with other themes in the end. He made no advances whatever, appeared to have no desire to enlarge the circle of his acquaintance. All his struck all this struck me as a mighty singular, yet, upon second thought, he was something almost sublime in it. Here was a man some 20,000 miles from home, but the way of Cape Horn that's it, which was the only way he could get there, through among people, as stranger to him as though he were in the planet Jupiter, and yet he seemed entirely at his ease, preserving the um preserving the almost serenity content with his own companionship, always equal to himself. Surely this was a touch of fine philosophy, though no doubt he had never heard there was such a thing as that. But perforce, to be true philosophers, we mortals should not to be conscious of so living or so striving. So soon as I heard that such or such a man gives himself out a philosopher. I conclude that, like the dystopic old women, he must have broken his dexter.
Right.
Dexter. Okay.
Continue, Nina, or
No, Diego, continue you, please.
as I sat there in that now lonely room, the, the fire burning low, in that mild stage when, after its first intensity has warmed the air, it then only glows to be looked at. The evening shades and phantoms gathering round the casements and peering in upon us silent, solitary twine, the storm brewing without insolent swells. I began to be sensible of strange feelings. I felt a melting in me, no more my splintered heart and mated hand were turning against the wolfish world. This soothing savage had redeemed it. There he sat, his very indifferent speaking a nature in which there lurked no civilized hypocrisies and bland deceits. Will he was a very saint of six to see. Yet I began to feel myself mysteriously drawn towards him, and those same things that would have repelled most others. They were the very magnets that thus drew me. I'll try a pagan friend, thought I. Since Christmas, Christian kindness has proved but hollow courtesy, I drew my bench near him, and made some friendly signs and hints, doing my best to talk with him meanwhile. At first he little noticed this advance, but presently upon my referring to his last night's hospitalities, he made out to ask me whether we were again to be bedfellows, and told him yes, whereat, whereat I thought he looked pleased, perhaps a little compliment. Who continue?
It's my turn or Nina's turn.
Continue, Daniela, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
Neighbors.
Okay, Nina, go
Mm,
ahead.
when when the turnover, right?
Yes, Nina is fine the document. So
Okay.
wait for you. Yes.
Okay. Um, we then turn over the book to and it and bent over it to explain to him the purpose of the printing and the meaning of the few pictures that were in it. Thus, I soon engaged his interest. and from that we went to jabbering the that no, wait. Thus I soon engaged in his interest, and from that we went to jabbering the best we could about the various other sites to be seen in this famous town. Soon I proposed a social smoke, and producing his pouch and tomahawk, he quietly offered me a puff, and then we sat exchanging puffs from that wild pipe of his, and keeping it regularly pacing between us.
If there yet lurked any eyes of indifference towards me in the pagan's breast, this pleasant, genial smoke we had soon to weed out, and left us cronies. He seemed to take to me quite as naturally and unbiddenly as to him, and when our smoke was over, he pressed his forehead against mine, clasped clasped me round the waist, and said that henceforth we were married, meaning in his country's phrase that we were bosom friends. He would gladly die for me, if needs should be in a countryman. This sudden flame of friendship would have seemed far too premature, and think to be much distraught, but in this simple savage those old rules would not apply. Ready?
After supper and another social sh- After supper and another social chat and a smoke, we went to a room together. He made me a present of his embalmed head, took out his enormous tobacco wallet, and groped it under the tobacco. He drew out some $30 in silver, then spread them on the table, and mechanically divided them in two equal portions. Pushed, pushed one of them towards me and said it was mine. I was going to remonstrate, but he silenced me by pouring them into my trousers pocket. I let them stay. He then went about his evening prayers, took out his idol, and removed the paper fireboard. By certain signs and symptoms, I thought he seemed anxious for me to join him, but well knowing what was to follow, I deliberated a moment whether, in case he invited me, I would completely or otherwise.
I was a good Christian, birth, born and bred in the bosom of the infallible Presbyterian Church. How then could I unite with this wild idolater in worshipping his piece of wood? But what is worship? Too, I. Do you suppose now, Ismael, that the magnanimous God of heaven and earth, pagans and all included, can possibly to jealous of an insignificant bit of black wood? Impossible. But What is worship? To do the my fellow man to do. Oh, sorry. To do the will God, that is worship. And what is the will of God? To do my fellow man what I would have my fellow man to do to me. That is the will of God. Now, quick is my fellow man, and what do I wish that this quick would to do to me? Why? Why you need with me my particular Presbyterian form of worship? Con- Consequently, I must then unite with him in his, ergo I must turn idolater. So I kindled the shavings, help prop up the innocent little idol, offered him burnt biscuit with quick salt before shaving, help, sorry, yes, shaving, help prop up the innocent little idol, offered him burnt biscuit with quick salt before him twice or thrice, kissed his nose, and that done we undressed and went to bed and paced with our consciences and all the world, but we did not go to sleep without some little chat. You.
Continúa, Lina, por favor. Nena, continue, please.
Okay, continue with the last fragment, teacher. Sophie William.
Yes, continue, Daniela, please.
We ended up in the last paragraph, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it
Uh,
is now.
yeah, it was the last paragraph of chapter 10.
Mm, oh,
It,
yes. Continue
yeah.
with the how this now and continue with the chapter 11, please.
Okay. How is it? I know not, but there is no place like a bed for confidential disclosures between friends. Man and wife, they say. They open the very bottom of their souls to each other, and some old couples often lie and chat over old times till early morning. Thus, then, in our hearts' honeymoon lay I and quick, a cozy loving pair. Chapter 11 Night Gone. We had lain thus in bed, chatting or napping at short intervals, and quick now and then affectionately throwing his brown tattooed legs over mine, and then drawing them back. So entirely sociable and free and easy we were, when at last, by reason of our confabulations, what little nappishness reminded us in us all altogether department, and we felt sorry, and we felt like getting up again. So daybreak was yet some way down the future.
Yes, we became very wakeful, so much so that our recumbent position began to grow wearisome, and by little and little we found ourselves sitting up. The clothes were struck around around us, leaning against the headboard with our four knees drawn up close together, and our two noses bending, bending, bending over them, as if our knee pants were warming pans. We felt very nice and snug, the more so since it was so shyly out of doors. Ended up ending out of bed close to seeing that there was no fire in the room. The more so I say because truly to enjoy bodily warmth. Some small parts of you must be cold, for there is no quality in this world that is comfortable and have been so a long time, then you cannot be said to be comfortable anymore. But if, like Quick and me in the bed, the tip of your nose or the crown of your head be slightly chilled, why, why then, indeed, in the general consciousness, you feel most delightfully and unmistakable warm. For this reason, a sleeping apartment should never be furnished with a fire, which is one of the luxurious discomforts of the rich. For the ache of this sort of deliciousness is to have nothing but the blank between you and your snugness, and the cold of the outer air. Then there you the one warm spark here, the heart or of an Arctic crystal. Sorry, I'm so sleepy. Continue.
We have been seeing in this crushing manner for some time, when all at once I thought I would open my eyes, for when between shifts, whether by day or by night, and whether asleep or awake, I have a way of keeping my eyes shut, in order the more to concentrate the snugness of being in bed, because no man can ever feel his own identity aright except for his eyes be closed, as if darkness were indeed the proper element of our essence. So light be more congenial to our quickly part. Upon opening my eyes then, and coming out of my own placement and self-created darkness into the imposed and coarse outer gloom of the illuminated 12 o'clock at night, I experienced a disagreeable revolution, nor did I at all object to the hint from the quick quack that perforce it were best to strike a light, seeing that we were so wide awake, and besides he felt a strong desire to have a few quick puffs from his tomahawk. But be it said, sir, to have a few be said, that though I had felt such a strong repugnance to his smoking in the bed the night before, yet see how elastic or stiff prejudice grow when love once comes to bend them. For now I liked nothing better than to have quick smoking by me, even in bed, because he seemed to be full of such serene household joy then. I no more felt unduly concerned for the landlord's policy of insurance. I was only alive to the contents, confidential comfortableness of sharing a pipe and blanket with a real friend. With our shaggy jackets drawn about our shoulders, we now passed the tomahawk from one to the other, till slowly there grew over us a blue hanging texture of smoke, illuminated by the flame of the new lit lamp.
Whether it was that this undulating testerot savage away to far distance es- escenes, I know not, but he now spoke of his native island, and eager to hear his story, I begged him to go on and tell it. He gladly complied. To a time I but I'll comprehend not a few on his words, yet subsequent disclosures, when I had become more familiar with his broken phraseology, now enabled me to present the whole History shows as it may prove in the mere skeleton I give. Chapter 11 Biographical. Quique was a native of Rocoboco, an island far away to the west on south. It's not down in any map to places ever are. When a new hatched savage running wild about his native woodlands in a grass cloth, followed by the nibbling goats, as in as if he were a green sapling. Even then, in Quicket's ambitious soul lurked a strong desire to see something more of Christendom than an specimen dweller or two. His father was an high chief, and Cain his uncle in high priest, and on the maternal side he boasted aunts who were the wives of unconquerable warriors. There was excellent blood in his veins. Royal staff took saintly betrayed in fear by the cannibal propensity he nourished in his untethered youth.
Continue, Daniela, please.
A Sag Harbor ship visited his father's bay, and Quick sought of his passage to a Christian lands. But the ship, having her full complement of seamen, spurned his suit, and not at all the king his father's influence could privilege. But Quick bowed and bowed. Alone in his canoe, he paddled off to a distant strait, which he knew the ship must pass through when she quit the island. On one side was a coral reef, on the other a low tongue of land, covered with mangrove thickets that flew out into the water. Hiding his canoe still afloat among these thickets, with his prow seaward, he sat down in the stern, had a law in hand, and when the ship was gliding by, like a flash he darted out, gained her side with one backward dash of his foot capsized and sunk his canoe, climbing up the chains and throwing himself at full length upon the deck, grasped a ring-bolt where and swore not let it go. He took Hake in pieces.
Invade the captain threatened to throw him overboard, suspended a cutlass on his naked wrist. Quick was the son of a king, and Quick bowed not, struck by his desperate dauntlessness and his wild desire to visit Christendom. The captain and lass relented and told him he might make himself at home. But this fine young savage This sea prince of Wales never saw the captains coming. They put him down among the sailors, and made a whaleman of him, but like Sir Peter, content to toil in the shipyards of foreign cities. Quick disdained no seem ignominy, if thereby he might happily gain the power of enlightening his outtutored countrymen. For a baron, so they told me, he was actuated by a profound desire to learn among the Christians the arts whereby to make his people still happier than they were, and more than that, still better than they were, but alas, the practices of Wellman soon convinced him that even Christians could be but miserable and quick, infinitely more so than all his father's heathens. Arrived at last in Old Sack Harbor, and seeing what the sailors did there, and then going on to Nantucket, and saying how they spend their wages, wages in that place also, poor Quick gave it up for lost. Took he its a weak world in all meridians, I'll die a pagan. Again, continue.
Yes, please.
Uh, okay, me or Nina? Nina can't.
Nina.
You, Nina, have a problem. I will
Oh, okay.
send the documents and continue, Nina, after Diego. Yes?
Okay. And thus an old idolater at heart, he yet lived among these Christians, wore their clothes, and tried to talk their gibberish. Hence the queer ways about him. Though now sometime from home. I will read the other paragraph. By hints, I asked him whether he did not propose going back and having a coronation, since he might now consider his father dead and gone. He began very old and feebly at the last accounts. He answered no, not yet, and added that he was fearful Christianity, or rather Christians, had unfitted him for ascending the pure and undefiled throne of dirty pagan kings before him. But by and by, he said, he would return, as soon as he felt himself baptized again. For the nuns, however, he proposed to sail about, and sow his wild oats in all four oceans. They had a harpooner of him, and that barbed iron was in lieu of spectre now. I asked him what might
Hmm.
be.
Continue.
Okay. I asked him What might be his immediate purpose? Touching his future movements, he answered, to go to sea again in his old vocation. Upon this, I told him that whaling was my own design, and informed him of my intention to sail out of Nantucket, as being the most promising port for an adventurous whaleman to embark from. He at once resolved to accompany me to that island, ship aboard the same vessels, get into the same watch, the same boat, the same mess with me, in short, to share my every hap, with both my hands in his, boldly deep into the padlock of both words. To all this I joyously assented, for besides the affection I now felt for Quick, he was an experienced harpooner, and as such would not fail to be of great usefulness to one who, like me, was wholly ignorant of mysteries of whaling, though well acquainted with the sea, as known to merchant seamen. His story began and end up with his pipe's last dying puff. Quick embraced me, pressed his forehead against mine, and blowing out the light, we rolled over from each other, this way and that, and very soon we were sleeping.
Okay. Chapter 13. Wheelbarrow. Next morning, Monday, after disposing of the embalmed head to a barber for a block, I settled my own and comrade's bill, using, however, my comrade's money. Then the grinning landlord, as well as the boarders, seemed amazingly tickled at the sudden friendship which had sprung up between me and Quick, especially as Peter confessed Cook and bold stories about him had previously so much alarmed me concerning the very person whom I now companied with. We borrowed, we borrowed an wheelbarrow, and embarking our things, including my own poor carpet bag, and Quick's cabans, sack, and hammock. Away we went down to the Moss, the little Nantucket packet schooner moored at the wharf. As we were going along, the people stared, not at Quick so much, for they were used to seeing cannibals like him in their streets, but at seeing him and me upon such confidential terms. But we heeded them not, going along, wheeling the burrow by turns, and Quick now and then stopping and adjust the the sheet on his harpoon bars. I asked him why he carried such a troublesome thing with him ashore, and whether all willing ships did not find their own harpoons. To this, in substance, he replied that to what I hinted was true enough. Yet he had a particular affection for his own harpoon, because it was of a sure stuff, which tried in many a mortal combat, and deeply for his and it deeply intimated with the heart of Wallace. I should like many island reapers and mowers, who go into a farmer meadows armed with their own scythes, to in no wise obliged to furnish them even so. Quick, for his own private reasons, preferred his own harm.
Shifting, hello everyone.
Hello.
Hi, thank you. Okay. Shifting the baron from my hand to his, he told me a funny story about the first wheelbarrow he had ever seen. It was a sunk harbor. The owners of his ship, it seems, had lent him one, in which to carry his heavy chest to his boarding-house. Not to seem ignorant about the thing, though in the truth he was en- entirely. So, concerning the prices way in which to manage the borrow, Quicken put his chest upon it, lashes lashes it fast, and then shoulders the barroom and marches up the wharf. Why, say I, Quick, you meet you might have known better than that. One would think one would think. Didn't the people laugh? Didn't the people laugh? Continue. Excuse me.
No. Continue, Daniela.
It's my turn. Hi,
It's
Nina.
for a paragraph, okay?
Okay. Upon this, he told me another story. The people of his island of Rokobokov, it seems, at their first wedding feast, expressed the fragrant water of young coconuts into a large stained cabbage like a punch bowl, and this punch bowl always forms the great central ornament of the braided mat where the feast is held. Now a certain grand merchant's ship once touched at Rokobock and its commander. Wrinkles. From all accounts, he very stately pun sorry. Um, from all accounts, a very stately punctilious gentleman, at least for a sea captain. This commander was invited to the wedding feast of Quick's sister, a pretty young princess just turning of 10. Well, when all the wedding guests were assembled at the British bamboo cottage, this captain marched in and being assigned the post of honor, placed himself over against the punch bowl, and and between the highest praise and his majesty the king. Quick's father, Grace begin said, for those people have their grace as well as we, so brincos. So Quick told me that unlike us, who at such time look down towards to our players, they, on the contrary, copying the dogs, glance upwards to the great giver of all feats. Grace, I say, begin said, the highest prince opens the banquet by the immemorial ceremony of the Iceland, and does it deepen his consecrated and consecrating fingers into the bowl before the blessed beverage circulates. Seeing himself placed next to the priest, and nothing the ceremony, and thinking himself being captain of a ship, as having as having plain preceded over a mere island king, especially in the king's of own house. The captain coolly proceeds to wash his hands in the punch bowl, taking it, I suppose, for a huge finger glass. Now, say quick, what do you think now? I didn't our people laugh?
A lad's passage paid, and luggage safe, we stowed on board to schooner, hosting it glided down the accursed river. On one side, New Bedford rose in terraces of streets, their ice-covered trees all glittering in the clear, cold air. Huge hills and mountains of cokes on casks were piled upon her wards, and side by side the world-wandering wall ships lay silent and safely moored at last, while from others came and sought of carpenters and coopers, with blended noises of fires and forges to melt the pitch, all betokening that new cruises were on the start, that one most perilous and long voyage ended only begins, and second ended only begins a third, and so on forever and for aye. Such is the endless, yeah, the interminableness of all earth effort.
Gaining, gaining the more open water, the breezy waxed fresh. The little moss tossed the quick foam from her bows, as a yawn called his snortings. How I snuffed that tartar air! How I spurned that turnpike air! That common hay wave all over tinted with the mask of Slavish hills and hoof, and turned me to admire the magnanimity of the sea, which will permit not records. Continue or at the same? Yes.
Or it's
No, continue, Daniela.
at the same fountain. Quick, quick, seemed to drink and reel with me. His dusky nostril silhouette apart, he showed his fillet and pointed teeth. On we flew, hmm? On we flew, and our often gained. The mouse did homage to the blast, docked and divided her bows as a slave before the Sultan. Slideways, leaning, we slid, we sideways startled, every ruparian tingling like a wire. The two tall masts blocking like Indian canes in land tornadoes. So full of this reeling essence we were as we stood by the plunging bowsprit, that that for some time we did not notice the jeering glance of the passengers. A robber-like assembly who marveled that two fellow beings should be so compan- companionable as ay, brincos. As though a white man were anything more dignified than a whitewashed negro. But there were some boobies and bumpkins there, who by their intense greatness must have come from the heart and center of all verdure. Quick, quick coughed one of these young slapings, mimicking him behind his back. I thought the bumpkin hour of dawn was come. Dropping his harpoon, the dropping his harpoon, the brawny savage caught him in his arms, and by an almost miraculous dexterity and strength, sent him high up boldly into the air. The slightly typing his stern and his mind's torments, the fellow landed with bursting lungs upon his feet, while quick, turning his back upon him, lighted his tomahawk pipe and passed it off me for a puff.
Captain, Captain, yelled the bunking, running towards that officer. Captain, Captain, here's the devil. Hello, you sir, cried, cried the captain, and gang ripped of the sea, stalking up to quick. What in thunder do you mean by that? Don't you know you might have killed the chap? Killed that chap? What what he say? Said Quick as he middle turned to me. He said I, that you came near kill Eve, that man there, pointing to the still shivering Gridham. Kill I, cried, cried Quick, twisting his tattooed face into an unearthly expression of disdain. Disdain. Ah, him very, him baby, him baby, him baby, small e, fish e. Quick no kill e. So small e, fish e. Quick kill e, big whale. Look you, roared the captain. I'll kill you, you cannibal, if you try any more of your tricks board here, so mind your eye.
Okay. but it so happened just then that it was high time for the captain to mind his own eye. The prodigious strain upon the mainsail had parted the weather sheet, and the trim Findow's bomb was now flying from side to side, completely sweeping the entire after part of the deck. The poor fellow whom Quicken had handled so roughly was swept overboard. All hands were in a panic, sorry, and to attempt snatching at the bomb to say it. Seeming madness, it flew from right to left and back again, almost in one thinking of a watch, and every instinct seemed on the point of snapping into splinters. Nothing was done, and nothing seemed com- capable of being done. Thus, those on deck rushed towards the boats, and stood everying the boom as if it were the lower yaw of an exasperate whale. In the midst of this consternation, Quicken dropping the death fly to his knees and crawling under the pad of the bomb. We put hold of a rope, secured one end to the bulwarks, and the flinging the other like a lasso, Caldis cut it round the bomb as if swept over his head, and that the next jerk the spar was that way trapped, and all was safe. The schooner was run into the wind, and while the hands were clearing away the stern butt, Quick, stripped to the waist, darted from the side with a long, leaping arc of a leap. For 3 minutes or more he was seen swimming like a duck, throwing his long arm straight out before him, and by turns revealing his brawny shoulders through the freezing foam. I looked look at look at the grand and gross fellow, but but saw no one to be saved. The greenhorn had gone down, shooting himself perpendicularly from the water. Quicken now took now took an instant glance around him. I'm seeming to see just now just how matters were dived down and disappeared. A few minutes more, and he rose again, no one arm still striking out, and with the other dragging life left from the boat. Sun picked them up. The poor pumpkin was restored. All hands voted quicken a noble tramp. The captain became his pardon. From that hour I clothed the quicket like a barnacle, yeah, till poor Quicken took his last long dive. Fetch. Continue something else or continue teacher or hello?
Teacher, you are here. Teacher,
Sorry guys, sorry.
Okay.
Tell me.
the last
Hi.
paragraph is for.
Yes. Who continue?
It's me.
Regálame un segundito, por favor. Say me, guys.
The last paragraph was finish everybody or continue?
Continue, please. At 8 p.m. Okay?
Was there ever unconsciousness? But Nina should continue it, and I will read the other part of the chapter 14.
Continue?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay. Was there ever such unconsciousness? He didn't seem to think that he at all deserved a medal from the Human and Magnanimous Societies. He only asked for water, fresh water, something to wipe the brine off. That done, he put on dry clothes, lighted his pipe, and leaning against the bulwarks and mildly eyeing those around him, seemed to be saying to himself, it is a mutual joint stock war in all meridians. We cannibals must help these Christians. Okay, finish.
Okay. Chapter 14. Nantucket. Nothing more happened on the passage worthy the mentioning it, the passage worthy the mentioning. So after a fine run, we safely arrive in Nantucket. Nantucket. Take out your map and look at it. See what a real corner of the world it occupies. How it stands there, away offshore, more lonely than than the Eddystone Lighthouse. Look at it, a mere hillock, an elbow of sand, all beach without a background. There is more sand there than you will use in 20 years as a subtitle of floating paper. Some whites will tell you that they have to plant weeds there. Sorry. They don't grow naturally. That they import Canada tasteless. That they have to spend Beyonce's for a spile to stop a leak in all cases. That piece of wood in Nantucket are carried about like bits of the true cross in Rome. The people there plant toadstools before their houses to get under the shade in summertime. That one blade of grass make an oasis. Three blades in a day's walk up paper. That they wear quicksand shoes, something like Laplander snowshoes, that they are so shut up, belted about, every way enclosed, surrounded, and made an utter island of by the ocean. That their very chairs and tables, small clumps, will sometimes be found adhering as to the backs of sea turtles. But this extravagance only showed that Nantucket is no Illinois. Illinois. Illinois.
Look now at the wondrous traditional story of how this island was settled by the red men. Thus goes the legend: in olden times an eagle show swooped, swooped down upon the New England coast, and carried off an infant Indian in his talons. With loud lament the parents saw their child borne out of sight over the wide waters. They resolved to follow in the same direction, setting out in their canoes. After a perilous passage they discovered the island, and there they found an empty ivory casket, the poor little Indian skeleton. What wonder, then, that these Nantucketers born on beach should take to the sea for a livelihood. They first caught crabs and coax in they sand grow bolder. They wandered out with nets for mackerel. More experienced, they pushed off in boats and captured cod, and at last launched a navy of great ships on the sea, explored this watery world, put an incessant belt of circumnavigations round it, repeated in at varying straits, and in all seasons and all oceans declared everlasting world with the mixed tastes, animated mass that has survived the flood, most monstrous and most monstrous that Highland salt sea mastodon, clothed with such portentousness of unconscious power, that his very panics are more to be dreaded than his most fearless and malicious assaults. Continue.
Continue,
Okay,
please.
and thus have these naked na Nantucketers, the sea hermits issue from their anthill in the sea, overrun and conquered. The watery world like so many Alexanders, parceling out among them the Atlantic, Pacific, and Indian Ocean as the three three pirate powers did Poland. Left Let American add Mexico to Texas, and pile Cuba upon Canada, left the English overthrow all India, and hung out their blazing banner from the sun. Two-thirds of this terraneous globe are the Nantuckers, for the sea is his. He owns it as imperials empires. Others seems having but a right of way through it. Merchant ships are but extensions bright, armed ones but floating forts, even pirates and privateers, thou following the sea as highwaymen. The road they put they but plunder other ships, other fragments of the land like themselves, without sinking to draw their living from the bottomless deep in itself. The Nantucketer he alone resides and riots on the sea. He he alone and in Bible language goes down to eating ships, to and fro, flogging it as his own special plantation. There is his home, there lies his business, which a Noah's flood would not inter interrupt. interrupt. Thou is overwhelmed. All the million in China. He lives on the sea as freighter cooks in the prairie. prairie. He hides among the waves. He claims he he claims them as chamois hunters climb on the Alps. For years he knows not the land, so that we he comes to it at last. It smells like another world, more strangely than the mom would to an earthman, with the langles skull that at sunset fold her wings and is rocked to sleep between billows, so at Nightfall, the Nantucket out of sight of land, furls his sails, and lies him to his rest, while under his very pillow rush herd of walruses and whales. Chapter
Cap
15. Okay, see, continue.
okay. Chapter 15, shoulder. It was quite late in the evening when the little mouse came snugly to anchor, and Quick and I went ashore, so we could attend to no business that day. At least no one but a supper and a bed. The landlord of the Spouter had recommended us to his cousin Jose of the Tripost, whom he asserted to be the proprietor of one of the best kept hotels in all Nantucket, and moreover he had assured as the cousin Jose, and he called him was famous for his shoulders. In short, he plainly hidden that we could not possibly do better than tripod lock at the tripods. But the directions he had given us about keeping a yellow warehouse on our starboard hand till we opened a white church in the larboard, and then keeping that on the larboard hand till we made a corner 3 points to the starboard, and that done, then asked the first man we met where the places was. These crooked directions of his very much puzzled us at the first, especially at the outset. Quick insisted that his yellowed warehouse, or first point of the territory, must be left on the landlord's hand, whereas I had understood Peter Coffin to say it was on the starboard. However, by dint of beating about a little in the dark, and now and then knocking up impassable inhabitant to inquire the way, we at last came to something which there was no mistaking.
Two enormous wooden posts, sorry, two enormous wooden posts painted black, and supported by aces hairs, snow from the cross streets of an old topmast planted in front of a old doorway. The horns of the cross trees were sawed off on the other side, on that this old topmast looked not a little like a gallows. Perhaps I was over-sensitive to such impressions at the time, but I could not help starting at this gallows with a vague missing, and sort of creaks was in my neck as gazed up to the two remaining horns. Yes, two of them, of four quick, and one for me. It's ominous things. I am confident my innkeeper upon landing in my first Wallingford. Tom's staring staring at me in the Wallen's Chapel. And here and gallows and a pair of prodigious black posts too. Are these last throughout oblique his touch to top it? I was caught from this reflection by the sight of a freckled woman with yellow hair and yellow gown, standing in the porch of the inn, under a dull red lamp swinging there, that looking much like an injured eye, and carrying on a brisk scolding with an purpose woolen shirt. Get along with ye, she to the man, or I'll be convinced ye. Come on, quick, said I. All rise there's Mr. Housey. And so it turned out Mr. Housey being from home but leaving Mr. Housey entirely competent to attend to all his affairs, upon making known our desires for a supper and a bed. Mr. Halsey, appointing Fournier scolding for the present, ushered us into a little room, and setting us at a table spread with the relics of a recently concluded repast, turning around to us and said, claim or cut. What is that about quoth a man? Said I with much politeness. A claim or cut, she replied. A claim for support, a cold claim. I that what you mean, Mr. Housey? I say that, but that's a rather cold acclaimed reception in the winter time, ain't it, Mr. Housey? But begins in a great hurry, the resumed, scolding the man in the purple shirt, who was waiting for in the entry, and seemed to hear nothing but the word "clam." Mr. Housey hurried towards an open door leading to a kitchen, and bawling out, "Clam for two" disappeared. "Queen, quicky," said I, said I. "Do you think that we can make out in supper for about on one clam?"
However,
Okay, stop. Thank you guys. Very good. We finished today.
thank you, teacher.
Good read, guys. Very good.
Thank you, teacher.
Okay,
It's wrong. Yes.
yes, it's hard.
Yes, guys. Thank you for your time. Good day.
Okay, good day, teacher. I
Thank
mean,
you, teacher.
Daniela.
Hey, bye bye, mate.
See you
Bye.
guys. Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.